Okay, so I want to talk about testosterone in women. This is something we actually don't often associate with women's health. We've thought for a long time testosterone is just kind of for males, and that is really inaccurate. Women, when we have testosterone deficiencies, have symptoms such as fatigue, muscle pain, joint pain, maybe working out and trying to really reach kind of body composition goals and just not getting there, even with the amount of work we're putting in that should move the dial. Having difficulty recovering from workouts, low libido, so like no interest in sex drive. And something that's important is I often will ask people, do you feel like your libido is where you want it to be? So someone might have a lower libido but be happy with that, and that is okay. We don't have to change anything if you're happy where you're at. However, if someone feels like their kind of drive and interest in intimacy and sexuality is not where they want it to be, then that could indicate a hormonal imbalance. Vaginal dryness, vaginal irritation, and these things can happen at any age. This does not just have to be for women who are menopausal. We often think of that for just women in menopause, but there are many women who, in their 30s and 40s have these symptoms. Additionally, testosterone can help with emotional well-being and even can keep our cycles in check. So again, we've talked about this in other videos, but hormones are really about a ratio and how do they interact together. And if testosterone is low, then we're going to have perhaps effects on progesterone and our cycle where maybe there's heavy, frequent cycles. Testosterone can help regulate that as well. And often when we have a testosterone imbalance, it's actually really common that that comes from the same place that a progesterone imbalance comes from. So the building blocks for testosterone and progesterone start upstream, and they include things called pregnenolone and DHEA. Now those two building blocks come down and help make hormones, sex hormones, but the important part is they also come down and make stress hormones. So the body is often going to default to stress hormones being the most important, right? So let's say you have a stressor and the stress hormones are like, hey, over here, we need more production. The body's going to default and send those building blocks over to the stress hormone production and more than likely start to kind of defer or kind of steal those building blocks. Now, stress responses are important and they're there to keep us alive, but a lot of us live in kind of a chronic stress response. Especially growing up in households that might have been more stressful, we wire to perhaps a more, stress hormone dominant kind of balance. So there are lots of things we can do for that. There are many amazing tools: mindfulness, breathing, exercise, eating well for your body. Those are all things we can do to help rewire that distribution. But in the interim, if we have deficiencies and you're having a hard time feeling out of balance, we can absolutely address hormone deficiencies with bioidentical hormones. So testosterone for women can be impacted by a kind of chronic stress response or just genetically being predisposed to having low testosterone. And as we age, all of our hormones are going to decline. That's how we're wired. However, we're living longer and wanting to live more, fulfilling, vibrant lives. And our biology hasn't quite caught up with that. So our hormones start to decline a little bit before we're kind of wanting them to. So again, one of those ways we can address that is by using bioidentical hormones to help us achieve that balance that feels right for us. So testosterone for women can be a vital tool in the hormones balancing kit.